start.
The final countdown to what Blazer fans hope is playoff glory has officially begun. Now, in just a couple of nights, this building is going to be alive as the first round of the NBA playoffs get underway. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bill Schonley, and welcome to our final edition of Blazer Trail for this season. Now, as the hour moves along, we'll wrap up the season, go on the road with the team, and much, much more. So settle in, my friends, and enjoy the ride down the Blazer Trail.
Tonight's special presentation of Blazer Trail, the second season, is brought to you by Henry Weinhardt's Private Reserve, the first premium beer of the West. By IBM. Whatever your size, whatever your needs, IBM is working to bring you the best solutions. By Power Rents. We work harder to earn your business. And by Smith's Home Furnishings, the Northwest's premier retailer of home furnishings.
I've taken a lot of shots in my career. Most have hit the mark. One or two have missed. But the shots I never miss are the ones I take with my Panasonic camcorder. Once-in-a-lifetime shots are too important to trust to anything less than Panasonic. And even though the camera fits in my hand, I can play the tape in my VCR. So make sure you never miss the big shot. Make sure you choose Panasonic. See my friends at Smith's Home Furnishings.
Blending modern technology with centuries of European tradition, Montanore Vineyards brings outstanding premium wines from the vine to your glass. Consistently rated among America's best, Montanore wines add a special touch of elegance to your dinner table and social gatherings. Ask for Montanore wherever fine wines are sold. Montanore Vineyards of Forest Grove, Oregon's premier wine estate.
We work hard in Thriftway. We're working hard for you. Cause we're more than just a store. We're your neighbors too. With quality and service, come on and be our guest at Thriftway. You always get our best. We're part of the community. We're part of the Northwest at Thriftway. You always get our best.
Over 100 years ago, good entertainment was as rare as a good beer, till Henry Weinhardt made his very own Private Reserve.
Never had this before.
Which made finding a good beer easier.
Gentlemen, Tex Velvet.
Thank you. You are beautiful.
But good entertainment was still a long ways off.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Come on, you know the words. She'll be coming around.
The Coliseum behind me is alive with a lot of activity, getting ready for the playoffs. When we left you last in mid-January, the Blazers had the second best record in the league at 24-12. And although the Blazers didn't match their 63 wins of a year ago, the final 3.5 months of the regular season went by in fine fashion as well. The month of January closed in fine fashion for the Trailblazers, winning 6 of 7. Included in the half dozen, the Lakers, Seattle, Atlanta, and a clash for the lead in the Pacific Division. A tough overtime victory at Golden State pushed Portland back on top in the standings. The month of February kicked off by a very special performance by Clyde Drexler at the All-Star game. In his first start at the Classic, Clyde put up 22 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 block shots. If not for a magical performance by Irvin Johnson, Drexler would have almost certainly been the game's MVP. After the break, the Blazers strung together 5 wins in 6 outings before making a trip up Interstate 5 to Seattle for a matchup with the Sonics. An NBA season-high crowd of more than 38,000 saw a tired team fall to Seattle 113-104. After rebounding with a home win over the Jazz, the Blazers headed east, and questions began to arise when a sluggish squad fell at New Jersey.
They kind of get in these slumps where they do good for a while, and then they think they're too good, and then they think no one can beat them, and then they lose to lesser teams like Timberwolves or things like that.
Well, I don't think it was any concern at all. I think we always remain confident. I think sometimes we're a little overconfident, and I think that's our problem versus coming out, accepting the challenge and not looking at the teams in terms of their record, just looking at them in terms of a good team.
March began with what the national media hyped as a finals preview as the Blazers stormed into Chicago Stadium for a matchup with the world champions. The Bulls made a statement and rolled to a 111-91 victory over the stunned Blazers.
Well, that's the kind of game that you have no choice but to try to forget about it as soon as possible. We didn't come out and play well at all. We played terrible. So, you know, it was a game that we knew we blew. And so the next best thing to do is to come out the next game and play as well as we can.
As they're prone to do when challenged, the Blazers responded in a big way, winning their next 7 in impressive fashion before a memorable visit to Boston Garden. Missed free throws and a legend broke the win streak as Larry Bird returned from injury to score 49 points, including a miracle three-pointer to force overtime, lifting the Celtics to a thrilling 152-148 double overtime win despite a 41-point outburst by Drexler. Clyde and teammates cruised through a rugged schedule and notched their 50th win of the season by thumping the Kings at Memorial Coliseum. All was going well until back-to-back losses at the end of the month cut the Blazer lead to a half a game with a tough stretch ahead. The regular season's final month began with the Blazers making a statement. A 118-86 drubbing of Utah got everybody's attention. And they followed that up with the biggest games of the season, a home-and-home series with the Warriors. Golden State wins would make the division a sprint to the finish. Portland wins would effectively wrap up the Pacific Division.
Shot won't fall. Porter's got it back. He's fouled by Lister, and the shot goes in.
The Blazers toughened up and came away winners in both games and officially began looking towards the playoffs. 3 games later, the Blazers clinched their 2nd straight division crown and the best record in the West by easily handling San Antonio. Portland spent the season's final week nursing injuries and fine-tuning for the playoff run.
I think they're great. Yeah, I think they've got their experience now. They've been in several playoffs, and I think they're going to go all the way.
Blazers are so off and on. They win and then have a good streak, and then everything seems to blow up. They can't get the momentum going. Right now they have the momentum, so I hope they keep it.
Well, it's obviously been an excellent season. We're looking forward to the playoffs, and I think this is a team that can go all the way, no question about it.
Makes Portland proud. All the way.
The Blazers begin what they hope will be a journey all the way to the NBA championship Thursday night at 7:30 when they host the LA Lakers in Game 1 of the first round of the playoffs. If you missed signing up for the Blazer Cable playoff package, call your local cable company for pay-per-view availability in your area. That's Game 1 Thursday night at 7:30 with a 7 p.m. pregame show.
It's a fact. If you buy the tools and equipment you need to do a job, you're going to spend a lot of money. If you rent those tools and equipment from Power Rents, you're going to save a lot of money. No matter what kind of job you do, Power Rents can help. Whether you need something big for a big job or something small for a small job, Power Rents can help. You'll get stuff that works great. You'll get pronto service anytime. You'll keep things simple. So hang on to your money. Rent from Power Rents. Nobody works harder to earn your business.
Freshness and variety. Thriftway brings you the best of both right in the store. And everything you need for a great meal to go. Delicious deli salads and casseroles, lean sliced meats, plus hearty home-style breads, rolls, and baked goods. When you shop at Thriftway, you get all this variety, plus friendly personal service that makes shopping a pleasure.
At Thriftway, you always get our best.
If you don't build good product, if you don't take care of your customer, they'll go somewhere else.
There are a lot of small towns that do depend on these factories.
Throughout America, IBM is working with all types of industries to create a new way of manufacturing, where IBM technology is helping everyone contribute toward the same goal, so better products get to the market faster, which keeps all of us a step ahead.
You want to go home at night, you feel good, and you feel you got something done.
Blending modern technology with centuries of European tradition, Montanore Vineyards brings outstanding premium wines from the vine to your glass. Consistently rated among America's best, Montanore wines add a special touch of elegance to your dinner table and social gatherings. Ask for Montanore wherever fine wines are sold. Montanore Vineyards of Forest Grove, Oregon's premier wine estate.
The six-month NBA regular season has teams crisscrossing the country with little regard for the mind or body. Half of the 82-game schedule is spent out on the road. Here's an inside look.
I'm on the road again, but I'm so tired of crying, but I'm out on the road again. I'm on the road again.
Traditionally, the road is not a friendly place to NBA teams. Success away from home is reserved only for the league's elite, and the Trailblazers fall into that category. Over the past 3 seasons, the Blazers have won more than 60% of their games away from the Coliseum. That's truly a remarkable number. But don't come away thinking life on the road is something the Blazers look forward to.
The road is a pretty tough place to be right now, and after the first 2 or 3 years, you don't look to go on the road as much anymore.
It's fun and exciting, probably first 2 or 3 years when you probably get to go places you haven't ever been before, and then once in a while you get a chance to get out and see some sights in those cities. But I think as the years wear on, and just talking to the older vet guys who've been around, say, 12, 13 years, you know, they said the worst thing is probably to travel at that point in your career.
The team travels on a chartered jet and stays in the best hotels in some of the most beautiful locales in our country. But still, travel is a huge drain, both mentally and physically.
Phone calls long distance will tell you how you've been. You forget about the losses, you exaggerate the wins.
You know, it just gets old, you know, bed to bed to the same TV, and, you know, it gets tiring, you know. It's like you don't have an apartment, you have a hotel to live in.
It's just another town along the road.
Everything looks the same. The days are the same. You know, some mornings I wake up and I don't know exactly what town I'm in or what city I'm in, and some days I wake up, I don't know what day it is. You sort of just disoriented when you're on the road.
Some of the road trips that we're on, we play 4 nights and 5 days back to back, and then a day off and then another back to back. You just don't have time to do anything because you're playing, and all of a sudden you travel to the next city and you've got to get some rest, and you don't have time because you get in at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Or Detroit, I don't know. We do so many shows in a row, and these towns all look the same. We just pass the time in the hotel room and wander around backstage till those lights come up and we hear that crowd and we remember why we came.
Since the acquisition of Blazer One, postgame often means meeting the media, win or lose, a quick shower, a bus ride to the airport, and then flying off to the next destination.
Life on the road, right? You know, I think the only thing missing from that plane are a couple of king-size beds.
The plane and the convenience it creates has been afforded a degree of credit for road success. It saves wear and tear on the body, helps with team togetherness, and allows the Blazers to fly at times of their choice. Flying in and out of cities on the day of the game also reduces any chance of outside distractions becoming a problem.
We don't spend the night in towns anymore. A lot of single guys probably disappointed about that, but if I was single, I would be disappointed about that. But that aspect of it is gone. So it's not the, I don't think there's that many distractions as far as what happens after a basketball game.
It's really a different thing for them nowadays too. They aren't as maybe in the 80s there was a lot more party guys in the league. I don't think it's that way anymore. I think the guys, when they go on the road, they basically just do their own thing, and really there isn't as much of a wild atmosphere as maybe there used to be.
Time is a dilemma for the team on the road. While they don't have large blocks of free time, there are almost always a few hours to kill before a game. Most visit a restaurant to call for room service and spend time in their rooms.
Eva Twin is in jail with his child, pregnant. She's pregnant with his child, and Nellie and him.
Kerry Porter passes the time keeping up with his favorite soap operas on television. Ala Abdul Nabi likes to visit favorite shopping places, or in this case, bring the shopping to him, as a tailor visited his room for a fitting. Shopping, in fact, is a favorite pastime for most of the players.
There's a lot of places that have things that children just don't offer, even clothes, from clothes to even exotic pets.
Yes, the exotic pets. On a recent trip to Utah, Kevin and Jerome made a visit to a local pet shop. The shop specializes in the unusual, and that was just fine with Duck and Jerome.
I like kind of like being different.
Yeah,
so.
these are...
Kevin directed his attention to an East African savanna monitor, just a very big lizard to most of us.
He grew up about how big?
About 10 feet, 9 to 10 feet.
Incidentally, Duck and the monitor made the trip home on Blazer One that night. Meanwhile, Jerome was more interested in something even bigger, a 15-foot Burmese python. Kersey had a python once before and is interested in getting another. But don't look for Duck to be babysitting if Jerome does get another snake.
See, I don't play with them. I like them, but they scare me a little bit.
Just hours after a lighthearted shopping trip, game faces return, and the Blazers prepare to do battle with the Utah Jazz, who sport the NBA's best home court record. The Jazz are more than up to the Blazer challenge on this night, but in the NBA regular season, there's no time for celebration for wins and no time for despair after a loss. There's only time to pack up and get ready for the next outing.
His 33 years and 11 NBA campaigns. But as with many players, there is more to Danny than you see on the hardwood.
Yes, and it counts. A gorgeous pass from Danny Ainge to set up Buck Williams.
I've just been playing it from the time I was 3 and 4 years old, and when I get on the basketball court, I just really compete. I love the game so much.
That is what we've come to expect from Danny Ainge. Hard-nosed play and unquestioned passion for the game of basketball. When it comes to basketball, emotions flow easily, causing fans to form quick and strong opinions.
All right. You're getting close. Try it again. One more time.
Opposing fans may not flip for Ainge, but at home, Danny isn't faced with many ups and downs. It's obvious that his family is Danny's pride and joy.
When I was younger, basketball was everything, and I've learned that basketball can be important when you play, but there's just so much more to life than basketball. And I think I used to just think too much about it, and now I I feel like I just have my life in a better perspective now.
See if both of you can stop Austin. Okay?
Right.
You guys, I'd make him use his left. Oh, terrible defense. That was too easy. I feel like, you know, the older I get, the more important it becomes. I just enjoy it so much more. I think I have my life so much more in order, and I have a better idea of who I am and what purpose life is and what perspectives that I have in my life now, and so I can just enjoy my kids and my family, and you know, the older I get, the more important they become.
It may have intensified, but family and faith have always been important to Ainge. He and his family have produced poetry books and songs to preserve family thought and history. It's something they enjoy, and at times chronicles the Ainge sense of humor, something that has been passed on to the next generation.
Who's your favorite player on the Blazers?
Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler? Who gives the best haircuts?
You.
You like that haircut?
Yeah. Why are you so pretty? And I take after my daddy.
Taylor, why do you have dry skin?
Because I take after my mommy.
That's right. What's your nickname?
Rain Man.
Why do we call you the Rain Man?
Because I rain in jumpers from the sky. And his nickname's Brickman. And then when I play baseball, when I'm pitching, I help the rain.
According to the Ainge kids, being the child of a professional athlete has its advantages. But once in a while, all the kids just want to be like the other kids.
Sometimes we get bombarded with questions, but I don't know. I've just asked my friends, you know. I've said, I answer their questions and I say, well, you know, I don't ask all about your dad's job, and he's just like a normal guy, and he's just my dad.
There's been times when they've told me some things that kids have said to them at school that are not very nice, and but, you know, that's just kids. You get teased about anything. You get teased about your braces or your ears or your nose or your haircuts, as in my boy's case. But, you know, that's just part of life.
A life that, from an outsider's point of view, couldn't be much better, even when the neighbors drop by unannounced.
Austin, see if Terry can stop you. I don't think Terry can. I don't think Terry can stop you.
He can't stop himself.
We just have a normal family. Our kids don't clean up their rooms, and they scream and yell while the opponent's shooting free throws and make the people in front of us really mad, and they're just wild, but they're good kids, and it's fun. I think families are fun and kids are fun.
Dribble it. You can't block any shots. Bustin', there you go.
Oh, look at this. Come on, Austin. I'll show you what I do to your dad every day in practice. What's that? See you later.
See ya. Thanks for the ball.
Right.
DT 90s?
That's what he gave me.
Women's golf ball?
I can't imagine having better kids and a better wife, and you know, so I'm very happy with my family, and from my perspective, I guess I'd say it's perfect.
Despite the demanding NBA schedule, Danny has completed his undergraduate studies and will receive his degree from BYU. Part of the 13 hours of college credit he earned this spring included working on the production of the piece featuring his family and turning the tables on his teammates by taking his turn behind the microphone.
When we visited Washington earlier this season, they had a contest in the Cap Center asking fans to wear their ugliest blazer. And if the video is any indication, they had some pretty good success.
You want to see some ugly blazers, just go look in Jerome Kersey's closet.
All this talk about ugly blazers got me to thinking, who is the best dressed blazer anyway? We've got some guys on this team who are pretty sharp dressers. Let's see, Terry, Clyde, Buck, Duck, Jerome, Alla, Cliff, and Coop usually all score big on the fashion front. Like you saw earlier in the show, Alla even had a tailor visit him on the road.
This fitting is so good, I could have gone on and did without the fitting.
Maybe the best way to solve this is to go to those in and around the team. Who would you say is the best dressed player on the team?
The best dressed?
Yeah.
Well, let's see, Jerome Kersey or Buck Williams are pretty good. Clyde aren't too bad.
Do you happen to know where Jerome buys his clothes?
Do I know
Jerome Kersey.
Jerome, now, Cliff,
upon occasion he has some good stuff.
Have you, wait a second, Cliff.
I would say Duck, Cliff, and Allah.
I would have to say Wayne Cooper. Wayne or Allah. You know, we have some pretty good dressing guys. But Dan, look at you.
I think I'd have to be up there.
Yeah, you're definitely up there. Yeah, you're in contention.
Who would you say is the worst dressed player on the team?
I'm going to leave it alone.
Well, Cliff left it alone, and we couldn't get a consensus on best dressed, but there was agreement on one thing, and as a reporter, I must report the truth. Doug, who would you say is the best dressed player on the team?
Everybody except you, Danny. I have to be honest. I mean, you are the worst dressed guy on the team.
I wouldn't say that you rank up there very high. I see you in a lot of these kind of baseball three-button shirts.
And you think that's
hold
bad?
over from your baseball days. Yeah, but you don't want to dress like a sports writer. That's not your goal. That's not what you're looking for, okay?
You guys, do most of your shopping at the big and tall shops. I can't do my shopping there. Where would you suggest I buy my clothes?
We need to stay out of Target.
They had a Target. I like it. Okay. There was one more common thread woven into this tale, and the truth is about to unravel. You know, I hate to bring this news to you, but...
My dad's a bad dresser?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
What do you think about that?
I don't think so. I just think that's out of the question.
Can you think of any coaches in the league that dress worse than our current coaching staff? Can you give us any names?
About minutes now. Well, I think our guys dress pretty good.
So do I. I think we got a really good dress coaching staff. You think he's a good dresser?
Yes, great.
Can you tell me what coaches in the league dress worse than your dad?
Don Nelson.
Good answer. So then you'd say your dad's the second to worst dresser.
No, there's Bill Fitch.
Bill Fitch, good answer.
My dad.
I see you've really thought a lot about this.
Yes, I have. I always think about it.
We'll leave you to think about it as well, but one thing is obvious. I've gotten a bum rap. Don't you agree?
Tonight's special presentation of Blazer Trail, the second season, is being brought to you by Thriftway. At Thriftway, you always get our best. By Montanore Vineyards of Forest Grove, Oregon's premier wine estate. By IBM. Whatever your size, whatever your needs, IBM is working to bring you the best solutions. And by Henry Weinhard's Private Reserve, the first premium beer of the West.
The NBA lifestyle is a demanding one, but it also has many rewards and affords the opportunity to give something back to the community. The Blazer organization and its players are very happy to do that, especially where there are kids involved.
Kids and basketball. That pair has always gone together and never seems to tire of one another. With that in mind, it's not surprising that the Portland Trailblazers and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Portland have had ties with one another for well over a decade.
It was a natural marriage because Trailblazers, so many of players in the NBA come from Boys and Girls Clubs, the inner city kids and that kind of thing, all across the country. It was very exciting to get involved with them.
Over the past 2 years, the most visible Blazers involved have been Jerome Kersey and Terry Porter. From the first playoff cassette, Rip City Rhapsody, to club auctions, to the exchange club between the Phoenix and Trailblazer clubs, to the current rap song Bust a Bucket, Terry and Jerome have stood out, taken a personal interest, raised a lot of money, and put smiles on the faces of a lot of Portland area youngsters.
Personally, I grew up around the Boys and Girls Club system back in Milwaukee, and I know, a lot what it's like and how fortunate a lot of Boys and Girls Club are to have something like that in the community where they can go to and play pool and relax and get some type of counseling on, some things about life. And I mean, I'm just so happy to be able to participate and get involved with the local Boys and Girls Club in the Portland metropolitan area.
It's hard to express what that means to the kids. The kids come away with such a neat feeling for someone at their level to take time out for them and give them special attention. Those kids need that, and they love it. It's an educational experience for them, personal growth experience for them, positive motivation for them. The kids love it, and they have been exceptionally, I can't express how they've been with the kids. It's been really wonderful.
Linda White went to Jerome and Terry with the idea of forming the Exchange Club, and the combination of her ideas, the financial backing of Jerome, Terry, and the Blazer organization made this unique incentive program become reality. To qualify for a trip to Phoenix, Boys and Girls Club members had to maintain at least a 2.3 grade point average, positive attendance marks in school, and be an active club member. 12 youngsters were randomly selected this season, and the program was a big motivational success. You'll see it again next season. And look for an even stronger bond between the Blazers and the Boys and Girls Clubs in the future. In conjunction with the new arena project and sales of executive suites, the Trailblazers have pledged $500,000 towards building a new Boys and Girls Club in Northeast Portland. In addition, the team will continue with fundraising activities towards maintaining the new facility upon its completion.
I think our commitment here is that we're in partnership with a very fine community organization, and we're making it possible for them to bring to the Northeast neighborhood something that really is a lot more than just writing a check. We're actually making it happen here.
Putting it down in the area that needs it probably more than any place in Portland, and we feel great about it. And it's all happening because of the Trailblazers.
Look for the video version of the latest Boys and Girls Club's fundraiser, Bust a Bucket, produced in association with Nike NZ100. You'll see it a little later on in the show. Bust a Bucket is a rap song, but the Blazers' appeal spreads to all walks of life and consequently all types of music.
You run over there without a second to lose, and what comes next? Hey, bust a move. Just bust a move. Person. Beautiful move by Jerome. So don't you stand there, bust a move. Break it down for me, fellas. Above the clouds and the rain, the memories and pain, and the tears that they cry. Now the lesson's been learned. They've all crashed and burned, but they can leave it behind if they could just find a new way to fly. G-suiting.
It's a fact.
Experts Steve Jones and Mike Rice to hand out their postseason awards and look forward to the playoffs.
All right, Steve, if it's anything like last year, I'm going to be #1 again.
#1 to the cash register because, you know, they have change for whatever denomination of dinero you have in your pocket. You will buy again.
I'm willing to take that test.
All right, let's go. Mike, they say there's strength in numbers, and, you know, sports bars all across the country are doing major league business as fans start to pour in to root for their favorite teams. Last month, it was Oscars. Well, this month, it's the NBA giving out their awards. We know you didn't get the best picture, but I'm going to give you a chance today to get it right. How about the sixth man?
Sixth man, it has to be Detlef Schrempf. Who else? Anybody that can play with Reggie Miller and Chuck Person and not be the bad guy for taking all of their shots, he has to be the sixth man, a runaway. In Indiana, it's not a bad team.
Will Indiana ever win? You know, the sixth man has to help their team get better. So let's go back to a team that got better. They traded Mitch Richmond. Everybody said the Warriors would go down. Sharunas Marciulionis brought them up. As a matter of fact, they chased the Trailblazers. Had a big question mark as to whether Portland would win the division title.
Oh, I think he's been the key to their team. I think when they made the trade Richmond for Owens, everybody knew Owens was going to be good, but no one knew how much they would lose Richmond's production. And when Marciulionis stepped up to average what he's been averaging, then you add in Owens, and now you've got a real plus for that team. I think he's been the key to their season. I think he's just been superlative all year, and he's been able to keep them where they are.
You know, last June, everyone was talking about how the rookies would make an impact on their different teams. Kenny Anderson, Billy Owens, Larry Johnson, Dikembe Mutombo. Well, the season has concluded, and there's a guy that spoke 5 languages, surprised everybody, and there's a guy that dressed up like his grandma. Those were the front runners. Now, who did you pick, or should I know? I'll tell you. I thought Mutombo would get it, but it was the guy that dressed up like his grandma that won it hands down. Larry Johnson had a tremendous season, and it was from the second half on that made the difference, in my opinion. Now, do you agree?
You finally are going to get one right, Larry Johnson.
What a shame. What a shame. We probably need some guidelines for Coach of the Year, because traditionally they like to take a coach that's had a big improvement. Sometimes that's even on a losing team. So that means Kevin Lockery has got a shot. That means that Mike Dunleavy, who's lost 3 of his great stars, has a shot. But I'll tell you what. You lay it out there and you look at a team that's going to be a threat in the playoffs. The guy's done a tremendous job all year long, Lenny Wilkens. He knows what winning's all about. He's even won a championship now. I don't know who you're going to pick, but I know it's left of that.
I'm going to pick the winner. I've got a guy.
Based on what?
He had the courage to trade, as you said earlier, to trade his second leading scorer, Mitch Richmond, for a rookie, Billy Owens. He loses Rod Higgins. All right? He loses Alton Lister, his center, and yet he chased the Blazers the whole season for best record in the West. I couldn't vote for anybody in that wimpy East. It's got to be Don Nelson.
Well, he has a unique style, but he also has some great shooters, and he has some fierce competitors. He has a hard-nosed group of players that can shoot the ball and play unselfish, and his style is very difficult to defend, as you know, because he takes the big man out of the game. So, you know, you're always going to have a difficult time beating those Golden State Warriors.
Some awards you can pick with a blindfold, and this happens to be one of them. Most valuable player. There's only one, Michael Jordan. He hasn't gotten better. His team has gotten better. He drove them to a franchise best. He's led the NBA in scoring once again. You know, his image, that needs repairing. But his basketball game, there's still only one Superman.
I disagree with you. He's a great, great player. MVP should be somebody that has made their team better than the team should be. I have to say Clyde Drexler. I think the guy, if you look at the rest of the Blazers, their year, and the rest of the Bulls, the year they had, Clyde Drexler had more to carry with the second-best record in the NBA. My MVP, Clyde Drexler.
You've got to rate him right up there, close to Michael Jordan. He does so much for his team. He's a guy that can beat you in so many different ways. His outside shot, to me, that's the biggest thing he's improved since he was back here at U of H. And He posts up, he runs the court, rebounds, steals the ball. He can do it all.
Wrong on Silence of the Lambs. And you wrong on Michael Jordan. I don't know, Mike, if you'll ever get up to speed on this business in the NBA, but I'm going to give you one more chance. You know, we got the playoffs. They're right in front of us, and we'll start with the East. You know, I remember a guy back in October, he said, you know, Boston, Boston, Boston. That's all you were talking about with Boston. Can they knock off those Chicago Bulls?
Well, right now they're the hottest team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics, without Larry Bird. I think if one person in that starting lineup for the Bulls gets injured, Boston will get in. If not, the Bulls.
The question marks written all over you. Now, you talk about question marks. There's plenty of those in the West, and everyone has said the Portland Trail Blazers should be the team to come out. But we have seen from this season that it has been a grind. Do they have any more left in them?
I think they've rested Clyde and Jerome at the right time during the year. They're going to be fresh enough. They're going to get Phoenix in one semifinal. I think it's going to be a tough series. They're going to win it. Utah will have an easy time on the other. Karl Malone will just step right over Golden State. It'll be Utah and Portland, 7 games. Portland will win the West.
I thought Don Nelson was coach of the year. I thought you liked Golden State. Golden State is the team on the other side. If Portland's to come out on one side, it will be them playing the Golden State Warriors. Probably the highest scoring series in playoff history. Yeah. And on top of that, the Trailblazers against the Chicago Bulls.
If that happens, I like the Chicago Bulls to win it. But if Boston is in, Portland's the next NBA champion.
That kind of talk makes me break out in a, I don't know, maybe it's a cold sweat, because, you know, there's some strange things being said. It really comes down to 2 teams, Portland and Chicago. And this is Portland's year. You know, I'll tell you what it is. It's that omen. Remember in the middle of the year when Chicago had a certain record and Detroit had a certain record? Those numbers indicated that they would be NBA champions. Portland had the identical record of those 2 previous champions. Now, Mike, time for you to buy again. You know, Mike just doesn't get this NBA prediction thing. You know, he's a lot better off asking questions.
Rick, I know we've had a few injuries at the end of the year, but the training room to do our interview?
Yeah, that's true. I hope it's not a sign of things to come.
I hope not. Should the regular season in the NBA somehow count for more? Maybe a Portland and the Bulls having a bye in the first round or something?
The thing that I don't understand is why you have a 5-game series in the first round. I've always said that because you play 82 games. The only reason you play is to get seeding in the playoffs and you get a home court advantage. And if you lose one game, you have one bad game to start the playoffs, you suddenly lose your home court advantage, and you have no guarantee of ever coming home. A 7-game series, at least you know you're going to come home if you split the first 2. So I've never understood that, and I'm sure if 1 or 2 other teams get knocked out like San Antonio did last year, the league will change it. But right now, they seem to stay with it. But that's what reality we face, and so you got to be ready to play.
You know, your team this year, consistency. You look at the Bulls in Portland, they only had 1 3-game losing streaks all season. Do you go into the season at the start thinking of consistency more than anything else?
I think so. I think that's one of the keys to our regular season was consistency. I think we lost to have a 3-game losing streak, and it was our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th games of the year that we did it. People seem to, with us, seem to jump on the losses we had, and they don't realize the consistent effort we had throughout the year. Every month we played, I think the worst month was the first month where we lost 6 games. Every other month we were very consistent in the way we played. And that's what you have to have if you're going to have the best record in a conference, or if you're going to win your division. You need consistency. So I think we did a great job in the regular season. Now it remains to be seen what we do in the playoffs. We got our job done. Now we've got to take it one more step.
Has the West ever been as strong as it is 1-8 right now?
I don't remember it being as tough as it is right now. And I think that's the reason you see in our conference, like last year, we had these 2 long winning streaks. You don't see that this year because when we go on the road in the West, you've got to play extremely well to win. Just look at the home records. In the East, where you have 3 expansion teams, you have some teams that are down, you don't have a lot of long losing streaks. You don't have that you face in the West. So I don't remember it. They talk about 1 through 8. I don't know. You've got 5 and 8, there's not a lot of difference between the 5th seed and the 8th seed, so it's going to be a very difficult playoff series.
How about the final question? Has there been anything at all this season that has disappointed you that you might want to do, if you had to do it over again, you would do it differently?
No, I don't know if there's anything really disappointing me. I was disappointed the way we started the season. I thought we would start in a more positive note, but I don't think, looking back on it, that I'm really disappointed in anything. Our team is not the same team that played last year. We've made changes in personnel. If anything, I feel awfully proud of these guys for the way they stuck to it. When everybody was having their doubts early, when every time we lost a couple of games, there were doubts, we never wavered in what we thought we could do. And we fought off every challenge this year from all the teams to become the best team in the West at this point. I don't think we did what we had to do in the regular season, but it's the playoffs that are going to matter. And we're probably going to be identified with what we do in the playoff series. And all I can tell you is that we're going to go out and we're going to play as hard as we can, as well as we can, and if that's good enough, it's going to be good enough. If it's not, then we have to find some other answers. But I'm very proud of this team. As a coach, they meet your expectations all along. And the thing that they've always done for me is they've always responded. When we've had down periods, they've responded. And I think they're going to respond in the playoffs.
We waited all season long for this. And the team that knocked us out last year is the team that we face again this year. And what a thrill.
They're a gutsy team, and they play very hard. And if we play well, we should win the series. And if we don't play well, they're very capable of knocking us off. And we just got to be ready to play.
You know, everybody's happy and, you know, looking forward to the playoffs. And, you know, this is what it's all about. The mental toughness, just the level of play and the competition.
Blending modern technology. Smith's Home Furnishings, the Northwest's premier retailer of home furnishings. By Thriftway. At Thriftway, you always get our best. By Montanore Vineyards of Forest Grove, Oregon's premier wine estate.
Well, that puts the wraps on another great regular season, and the playoffs promise to be very memorable as well. Now, we've all waited a long time for the NBA playoffs to roll back around, so let's make them very special for all involved. I'm Bill Shinley. Wherever you may be, good night, everybody. I'll see you on the radio.
Listen, everybody, to my blazer rhyme about one night when I shot to the big-time Coliseum Friday night. Sitting up front where the lights are bright. 2 hot seats, oh yeah, fantastic. Me and Jay sitting right by the basket. Blazer dancers bumping, thumping. Big shot block, Buck Williams pumping. Slapped so hard that ball was flying right in my face, man, I ain't lying. Tried to duck, but the ball done touch me. Knocked me cold, disconnect me. Next thing I know, I'm in a Blazer jersey. Coach says, hey, you're going in for Kersey. I said, you're right, man, check you out. And then he got in my face and began to shout. Oh, this is going to be harder than I thought. How you spelling that? Yeah, great. Whatever. Back to my story. Bust a bucket, toss a pass. You're talking to a fan who flunked gym class. But there I was, just the same. Playing pro and finding fame. Dip to the well, scoop to the trough. Porter said, man, don't back off. Halftime, bout time, rest my bod. Have a little chat with Ahmad Rashad. I feel pretty good, man, that's the truth. I'll tell you more later when I stop by the booth. It was Rip City Showtime, fully fantastic. Positively Portland, slam bombastic. Crowd was stomping, then they screamed. But that one thing Coach said kept me guessing. What's that word, man? Now I'm stressing. I got the good part. Kick it a couple times and let me think about it.
This has been a Blazer Broadcasting sports presentation.